Okay, so with drill, it's really simple. Let's go to 144 BPM. Okay, now all we need is what's called a counter snare. I don't know any famous drill producers, but I guess we could start with Travis Scott. Not because Travis Scott's known for drill, but because his snares are nice and short. So let's right click, let's open this up. Okay, we're just gonna do this. Now we're gonna create what's called tresillo. So it's ta, 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 ta. Tresillo is the root of so many genres and timing that I could sit here all day to explain. From Afrobeat to drill to trap to hip hop to you name it. We're at 144 and just go ta, 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 ta. That's the whole drill pattern right there. Everything else is really just a combination of what you like as far as sound. Some people take drill to where it sounds like EDM music combined. I don't really like that style of drill. Some people do like singable drill, danceable drill to where it's like a hip hop song. So there's different styles of drill. There's no one style. Let's go to the wrench tool and let's use what's called Mod X. And we're going to mess with what's called the high pass filter here to thin out some of the lows. I learned this from Jay Cactus. It's called a counter snare, which really is just a snare with a high pass filter. I think we can give this an envelope so it kind of swooshes in as opposed to just. Okay, let's mess with this. So we can determine how the high pass filter works. So I'm kind of swooshing into a high pass, or we could do it the opposite way to make the high pass kind of, okay, so it's up to you guys how you arrange this. This is really sound design at this point. You could add a little attack to the volume so it's not as harsh. Okay, so something like this. Okay, something soft. It's like their version of a hi-hat, okay? So you don't need to have every single hit for drill, ta, 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 all the way through. Let's hit Control L, send that to the mixer. But let's get our kicks in, and I'm going to copy some Chicago drill technique. Let's go back to that kick. This works for all hip hop. And again, you guys will get the project files for free, so don't try to memorize these steps. Let's open this up. Let's trim this, and let's hit Control L. So it's boom. Now I'm going to have to draw this out longer. So it's going to go boom. This is an FL glitch. Oh, no, we're not. We're going in. I didn't realize we were in song mode. Let's go to pattern mode. That explains that. Okay, go to pattern mode, and now it's boom. Boom, boom, boom. And then we're going to continue the pattern. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Like that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so most people think these guys are using 808s. Some are. Others are using more of a sustained sound. You don't need to memorize what that means. Let's just go to the Metro Boomin kit. Again, you will get the project files for free. You won't have to do all this. Let's look for what's called the Spins 808. This is the most popular 808. There's different 808s out there, but most of those are just processed Spins 808s. So we need to find the actual spins. Here we go. Let's right click, open that up. Now, firstly, we're going to right click, edit in the audio editor. You don't need to do this at home. I'll do all the hard work for you. You need to fade out any clicks, but also change your snap to grid to 0 crossings and then highlight a section, and we're going to set a loop. Okay. Now double click to get out of the loop and left click and drag that sample back into the sampler. What we're doing is adding a sustain sound to this 808. So now when I hold the key, it sustains. Now we can fix the actual loop. Okay, so for a loop, I didn't check. I just kind of eyeballed it. You want to start at the beginning of a cycle and then make sure it ends at the end of a cycle. So the beginning is when it goes up. The end is when it goes down and then back up. So this should be a better loop right here. And now it sustains in the sound. Okay, when you hold the note, just make sure use loop points is on in your sample. Now you can run this sample through anything. You can run it through distortion. But first, let's write the notes and then we'll worry about all the processing. Now, usually I write my melodies first, but let's just start with the bass. Change our snap to grid to 1/2. Now notice the bass kind of stops whenever the note stops. That's because we have loop points on. So I'm highlighting the notes, hitting Control, and then hit Control L to make sure they don't overlap. Now that wouldn't be a typical but I'm going to show you guys something. So if you don't know which notes to play, just play a half step, which is going from whatever note you're at to one note directly above or below. Notice these notes are like subtly cut off. That adds to the bounce. So let's say you want to create that pop smoke type of slide. Hit Shift, highlight all your notes, hit Shift, left click, hit Control up, at least one octave. Double click on each note and switch it to the slide note. So double click, click this little slide note icon right there. So now the notes will slide to this note over that amount of time. If you want faster slides, shorten these notes. So hit Alt, left click, shorten these notes like this. So let's make these 808s faster. So let's add do. First, let's get the timing right. So I shortened the notes to half of the length. And then we're going to change the notes, highlight, hit Control. So I want to go, let's hit Control up so we can actually hear the tone. So let's hit Shift down, move those two notes. So let's go to half step C sharp and then back to C. Okay, now we can pull everything back down, Control down. Now, if the pitch doesn't bend fast enough, highlight your slide notes, hit Control up. It will pitch bend faster. Pitch bend the higher notes. So that's how you do that. Okay, let's add like a plucky type melody. All right, let's see. Trying to think what has plucks in it. Let's go to Citrus. Morphine, that's another good one, but not everybody has that one. But Morphine's another good one. Let's go to Citrus, let's go to Presets, and let's go to Chromatic. That's kind of dope. It's too plate. That's kind of dirty. Let's record that. Now I'm using my typing keyboard. So I'm right clicking here, go to C4 and then layout piano. I'm using my typing keyboard. Let's go back. Make sure we hit stop twice before we 2, 3. I messed up at the end, but whatever. So one of these notes is early. We're just going to fix just that note. The notes need to be played a little bit delayed, so I'm not quantizing the notes. Okay, let's make this unique and let's change out that 808. Let's do Okay, so we're gonna do a big slide, double click, make that a slide note, so it's gonna like that. Now at the end you can get crazy like do 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 do. Like I'm just not doing that much for this beat. Okay, let's work on the sound here. Let's make the sound a little more gangster. Let's run it through a pitch shifter. Okay, so now we're just mangling the artifacts of the sound, making it. I kind of like the pitch down version more than the pitched up. Okay, so now let's add some effects. Okay, so now we need an actual snare. Almost forgot to add an actual snare in here. Now, usually the snares are nice and short. They're more of a rim than they are a snare. There we go, like this one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Let's go to pattern 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you can also, switch up the timing so it's on the 3 and the 6. The 1, 2. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. So drill, you could change up the timing of the snare. I'm going to go through different sounds for the melody. I like this better. So let's do something here. We're going to combine pattern 1 and 2, highlight these, hit Control G. Rarely do I produce in patterns, but I'm doing this so that I can combine the MIDI for the synth. Hit Control X, right click. We're gonna move that to a new pattern. Because what I wanna do is reroute this sound in the mixer, hit Control L, so now it's on a new track. I want the original sound plus that sound. So let's left click to send a duplicate of the synth over to that track. And I'll show you a technique I use, which is using gross beat to add half time. Go to presets, momentary, half speed. And also I'll add more reverb in here. Let's add fruity reverb too. Turn down the dry level. The notes are moving a little too quickly, so what I might do is spread these notes out. So let's hit Control A, hit Alt, and then left click until the notes are double in length. So let's pull this up to 16. Okay, now we can go back and switch out the actual sound. So here's what I do on the reverb track. I forgot to do it. Pull back the mix level for the half speed effect. Okay, now I'm going to start mixing the 808. Now the 808 sounds out of key because of the sound we're using. It's not because it's out of key, it's because this sound is different. So now we need to adjust the 808 to sound in key. To do this, we're going to go back to pattern 2, find our 808, pull it up an octave or 2, Control up, and then figure out why it sounds out of key. So let's say you want your 808s to fill out more space, hit Control L. To me, it's just too much sustain. Pull back on the original level and just use that reverb. So I know it's a little repetitive, it's because we didn't make 1,000 808 changes. And then I need to add a couple sound effects. We're still gonna mess with different sounds. That cello's a little bitey. Let's combine the cello and the choir. Okay, so now let's mix it in the Maximus. What I'm going to do for the bass is send it through that tape saturation effect. All right, I need to up the buffer length for this processing. Why was I on this the whole time? Hold on. Hopefully y'all even heard the audio. Didn't realize we were on that one the whole time. Let me double check. All right, you gotta check every now and again. When gonna add the Fruity Soft Clipper going in just so we have a little more harmonic. And then we're gonna push the gain in using an EQ2. Don't worry about memorizing this. This is more advanced. We're gonna get more loudness out of it. Only thing is this technique is not working on that 808 because it's already saturated, so it's coming in saturated on top of saturation on top of saturation. So now I got to figure out how to get the levels right for the 808. So this is how important understanding gain staging is, because this little gain knob right here is adding so much crunch to the sound. Going through that tape saturator. Listen to before, and we're gonna slowly crank this up. Now you can push it too hard, okay? So just push it till you hear that crunch, and then right here. Now I'm adding the distortion back to the 808. Okay, so you can spend more time on mixing. I'll give you guys the project files for free. Go to busyworksbeats.com to get these project files. Right at the top, it says free downloads. Peace out, guys.